Hey guys, welcome to Let's Talk About It podcast. On today's very first episode, I will be doing an intro video just so that we can kind of get to know each other. So, to start off, my name is Naomi Aurora Garcia Ceballos. I am technically a Zamora because I am married. So, me and my husband have been married for 3 years and have been together for 6 years. We met through church. He would move back and forth a lot and he would come and visit my hometown a lot. So, every time he would come, it would just make my heart so happy because I had the biggest crush on him. So every time he would leave, you can imagine how I was. I would run to the restroom of my church and I would be crying and crying and crying along with all the other little girls that had a ginormous crush on him. And trust, he gets a big head about it still to this day. Like when I tell him how I would cry when he would leave, he'd be like, "Really? I never knew. Like I knew some girls had a crush on me, but I didn't know like that you did." So I try to tell him like, "Yeah, I wasn't even crying that much." So I never thought that he would even look in my direction because he would move around a lot, you know? It was just never going to be serious because he could never stay in one place for too long. So I just thought, nah, it's not going to work out. And then I also didn't think it was going to work out because at that time of my life, I looked like a little boy. I looked like a little ball of manteca walking around all the time. My hair was in this ponytail that I would wear every single day. So and the clothes that I would wear, it was my mom's baggy clothes that I would steal from her closet that I still have to this day. Sorry, mom. But I just never thought I had a chance. Like, he was a little older, and I was just kind of like, it's not going to work out. But eventually, he came back and he moved back to my hometown. And I don't know, we just started talking, and looked more like a woman. I learned how to do my hair, and I actually bought clothes that fit me. So yeah, we started talking, and 6 years later, we're now married, and it's it was a crazy like thinking back on it. It was like every little girl's dream, like, oh my god, to be with their childhood crush. Like he's never gonna come back for me. And when he came back, um, I had no intention, like, oh, we're gonna be together, or like I'm gonna go after him again, or like anything like that. I was like, you know what? It was a childhood crush. Nothing's gonna come from it. Well, he came looking for me. He was chasing after me, which, guys, let the man chase after you guys. So he did, and I was so like uninterested. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to be with him. I was like so back and forth. And then eventually, my best friend and her mom was like, "What are you doing? Like, you have had a crush on him since you were little. He's finally looking in your direction, coming after you, and you don't even want anything to do with him." So I was like, you know what? I'll give him a chance. So yeah, we got together, and thanks to them, now we're married, and we have 5 dogs, and it's it's been a crazy ride, but it's been really nice, to have somebody, and to say that I got married to my childhood crush. So that's a little story about how I met my husband. So another story of how we got married. So we had been engaged for about a year, and I remember just not trying to put any pressure on it. I was trying to enjoy our engagement for a while, but I also remember there was a lot of pressure, like from the outside, like, oh, when are you guys gonna get married? You guys should get married. Like, it's already time. You guys can't just, be engaged forever. So, after about a year of waiting until everybody kind of just stopped, putting their 2 cents in, I went to my husband's work on a Monday and I sat down with him, and he was like, we started talking about marriage, and when we were ready, to do it. So, he was like, well, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm just waiting for you. So I was like, you know what? I'm ready too. Like, we should get married. So that same week on a Saturday, we decided to get married. We got everything ready. We had a super small and intimate wedding. And we did it during the pandemic. So it was very hard to get anybody else. Even if we wanted to, it was just not possible. I just kind of kept it very small and intimate, which was nice. But I always did want a big wedding. Like when I was young, I wanted a ginormous wedding with all my family, like, music and food, and just to do something so big. But I mean, it didn't end up working out that way, but I don't regret the way we did it. So, in our hometown where we got married, I obviously I have all my family and friends there, you know. Um I grew up in a household of four girls, including me, and then one boy. So my parents had four girls, and then they finally had their baby boy, their miracle, their everything. So he was very much the favorite for a very, very, he still is actually. And it was really nice though to have like a little brother because it was four girls and it was just the same thing over and over and over. And to have a little brother, and he was so cute. So, um, yeah, it was just us for a while. And after my baby brother was born, my parents split up. And it was very hard at the time because me and my baby brother were the only ones at home. And it was just a hard transition, honestly, because we were so young. We didn't understand what was going on. So it was very hard at the time. But, thank God we're past all of that now. So after they split up, they got together with, they got remarried. So they had, my mom's husband had three kids before my mom. So I gained three step siblings, and then my father had two kids with his wife. So I have two half siblings and then a stepsister on their side. So in total, it is 11 of us, 11 siblings. So you can imagine how holidays and everything is going on. So it's very fun though. It's very nice to have more sisters and more brothers. So it's a nice, it's a nice thing to have siblings and be able to like get along, especially like my step sibling from my mom's husband side. She was like around my age, so I had like a sister that was, that I could talk to and hang out with because all my other sisters were older. They had husbands, they had boyfriends, and I was over there a mocosa, didn't even know what to do half the time. So it was very nice to grow up with her and experience like, you know, like things that you do at a young age. So um in my hometown, I obviously went to school as well, but I didn't go to a public school. I went to a private school. So the church that we went to had like an attached building to it where it was an academy. It was about 20 to 25 students, and there was only one teacher. He was the choir director, the PE teacher. He was everything in one. And you can imagine how that is because it's different grades, and it was like we were all siblings. We all grew up together, like in church. We were always together, and then in school we were always together. So it was just like the same thing all the time, which got annoying. Don't get me wrong, because being stuck in one room with the same people can be annoying, but it was also very, very nice. So I went to school there and I did graduate from there. And then after I graduated, life started. And at the time, I was not married yet. This was before I even got with my husband or my boyfriend at the time. But I ended up going to college because my mom was telling me to go to college, try something new. So I was like, oh, I didn't really want to go because in our school, it was very much based off the Bible, like based off God, which is like, I'm grateful the way that I was raised in that school and the way that they taught me, but I wasn't prepared for real life things. So when I went to college, I remember my first day like it was yesterday. It was the most embarrassing day of my life. I remember walking into my history class and my teacher had like we sat down and she had asked us a question on who was the first person to do something. I don't even remember. And I was like so embarrassed because I didn't know. Like, I didn't know anything. I just thought, like, should I just put Jesus? Like, I don't know what to put down. So I remember sitting there forever while everyone was all filling it out all fast and giving it to her. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be the last one here. Like, just sitting here thinking forever. But eventually I just wrote down like a random president's name and then I gave it to her. And I remember her saying, like, there's no wrong answers. I was like, girl, I know damn well this answer is gonna be wrong. Like, I just know it. There's no way that what I gave you was gonna be right in any way. So, um, I did not pass that class, and I didn't pass English, but I passed all the other classes. I was good at all the other classes. But when it came to like essays and being able to like write down all sophisticated and stuff, like no, I can't even text right. Like, how do you expect me to write a whole essay, especially 10-page essays of something that I'm not even interested in? So it was very hard. But I mean, after a year, I dropped out, which if college is for you, go ahead and do it. Like, go for it. I have friends that, graduated from college universities, and I'm so proud of them. But for me, that wasn't for me. And to this day, like I would never go back. But it was a good experience. I did meet like three friends, and I was able to experience, what it was like to go to like a public school or a college. So it was really nice. I wouldn't take anything back. So, after all that, jumping back to, getting married after college, that's whenever me and my husband, started talking and all that stuff happened, and ended up getting married, and we ended up getting a house that we rented from his grandfather because his grandfather is sick. But it was nice to have our home and to, just experience life together with my husband and me. And we were there for like about a year or two, I believe, and then we just decided that California was too expensive to live in. It was just too much at the time. I loved that my family and friends were there, and I love that, I created all these memories, like getting married, going to school, going to college, and dropping out, and all these things. But it was expensive, so we just decided, like, my husband was like, hey, let's go somewhere else, and he's so used to it, he's ready to just jump the gun, and I'm just like, oh, no, 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 I can't even go to the grocery store by myself. How do you expect me to leave my family and friends, just to go somewhere that we've never been? So after talking about it for about a year and pushing back, like, oh, let's go, and then me saying, no, 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 I don't want to go, I was like, you know what? I want a house. Like, I want to start a family soon. I want a house. I want a big property so I can get more dogs. And I was like, okay, like, that's fine. Like, let's just trust in God. So we took, our steps forward, and we decided that we were going to leave California. So we decided that in like the endings of 2022, which is like around December, I think. And then we decided to move 3 months later. So we left April 2023. It was a lot. We told my family, and it became super real. Like, it made me so sad because I realized, like, wow, we're really doing this. Like, we're really leaving, and it's like, that's not like me. Like, I like to stay comfortable, I like to stay in the same thing. And it was a very crazy experience. So we got everything ready, we got the house packed up, we got the dogs, we got, what we needed, the U-Haul, and we decided to come, and we ended up moving to Florida, which leads us to now. So now we are in Florida. We've been here for about 9, 10 months, almost a year. I have not seen my family. I have, I talk to them here and there. I have not seen my friends or nothing. So it's hard. It's a really hard thing to do. It's not like, oh, it's so cool, and the. I mean, I'll make more videos talking about like how it was to move, like how it was on those, because it took 4 days to get here. So I'll talk more about that, and I'll talk more about like the divorce, and I'll just get more into depth about all the things that we're talking about today. But I just wanted to summarize it just so that you guys can kind of get to know me a little bit better. But yeah, so we got here, and after 4 days, it was like the worst thing that I've ever experienced. Yeah, I would never do it again, especially with 5 dogs and all these things happening. But our goal here is to get a house, maybe not here, but maybe like in another state. For sure, we're not going back to California; it's just too expensive. But we're thinking of getting a home and starting a family and just building something of our own, to leave for our kids later on in the future. And we're so blessed, we're so blessed to have been able to just get up and go. And within a short amount of time, God opened a lot of doors for us, and we're so grateful to him because his grace, did follow us here, and we've never really been alone in anything. My husband's family is here, so they've been helping a lot with allowing us to live with them and be able to save up money and one day get our home. And it's been hard, yeah, but it's also been a cool experience. Within those 4 days, I visited more states than I've ever in my whole life. So it was like a crazy, crazy experience, and I loved it. I wouldn't take anything back. I wish my family was closer, like right next door, but other than that, it's nice. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. That's where we're at now. We did come here with a goal, and we're working towards it. And we're so grateful to God for everything that he has given us to this point and everything that he's taken away from us. Just we're so grateful. So yeah, guys, that's a little bit about me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this first episode of Let's Talk About It podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like, and turn on that notification bell so you guys can get notified every time that I have an episode out. I hope that you guys stay blessed and stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.